coming to you from the Storm Tracker Weather Center. We have seen several days of cloudy skies. In fact, today is Friday, January 23rd, dating back to last Thursday. We have seen really nothing but clouds in our forecast area, and unfortunately, I believe that trend is going to continue through the weekend. So let's get into it. I'm going to flip the camera around, pardon my finger, and now we can just kind of get started on the weather story. This is a live look out at our weather cam outside the KEPR studios here in Pasco, and you can see, well, it is certainly gray. This is a scene that so many of us have become, again, accustomed to over the past week or so, and I really don't think there's going to be any changes coming our way. There are some model suggestions that we could break out to some sunshine today, but I'm certainly not terribly optimistic that that is going to be occurring. Now, something that did happen this morning that's a bit of a departure from previous mornings is we were subject to some freezing drizzle in our forecast area. I'm just going to adjust the camera just a little bit so you can see totally the banners when they come up. My apologies for that. We did have some freezing drizzle in our forecast area. Sometimes when we get these dense clouds, it doesn't take much to squeeze a little bit out of precipitation out of them. And with these freezing drizzle concerns, everyone in this kind of white color did experience, or at least had the chance to experience, some of those freezing drizzle concerns, which made roadways rather slippery. And in fact, through the rest of the morning, and maybe even into the early afternoon, these freezing drizzle concerns may exist. So if you live in one of these in a city or in an area that is kind of shaded in this white color, or will be commuting through somewhere in this kind of white color, just be aware that roadways are going to be rather slick, or could be rather slick. In fact, we did have one school closure today. The Athena Weston School District in Umatilla County was closed on this Friday because of those slippery road conditions. I know that there was some delays elsewhere as well. Helix High School was under a 2-hour delay. So again, just be smart, be careful, be aware that roadways might be a little bit slippery. Now, as we look at the daytime high temperatures today, the forecast daytime high temperatures today, I want to caution that the model that compiles this map, I believe, is going a bit too warm on high temperatures. For the Tri-Cities, I believe high temperatures today will likely only crest in the mid-30s. For the Yakima Valley, I am anticipating low to mid-30s today. And then through the Kittitas Valley, low to mid-30s seem appropriate. And for the Blue Mountain foothills, low to mid-30s seem appropriate as well. I believe the reason that this map is going a bit too warm, at least in my opinion is going too warm, is because what I mentioned earlier. There are some models that suggest that we could break out to some sunshine. And I think that that's kind of what this model is picking up. I do not believe sunshine is going to be something that we see today. I believe we're going to be staying pretty cloudy. Now, as we take a look at your overall weekend forecast, I believe we are going to be staying cloudy both Saturday and Sunday, likely staying in those clouds with those daytime high temperatures only in the 30s. Again, there are some models that do suggest that we could see some sunshine this weekend, but I really am pretty pessimistic about that. I just don't see enough that would suggest that we would break out the sunshine. So I'm keeping us a bit more cloudy and a bit cooler than some models do suggest. I'm with everybody else. I want to see the sunshine too. I don't often wish for my forecast to be incorrect, but if we were to break out of the clouds into the sunshine and therefore making my forecast incorrect, I would be just as happy as everybody else. Now, if you do want to see the sunshine, going up to the high terrain is certainly a way to do that. Maybe you want to go skiing or snowboarding this weekend. Here's a look at your ski and snowboard forecast. For Bluewood ski area, both Saturday and Sunday are trending in a sunny direction. Temperatures those days are going to be into the 20s, so I might recommend maybe even wearing that sunscreen if you are going to be going up the Bluewood ski area. And then we are going to see something similar over White Pass. We're going to be looking at some sunshine on Saturday and Sunday, temperatures into the upper 20s to low 30s. Really not too bad to get up to those ski and snowboard slopes. I know that we definitely want to be adding snow to the snowpack, but I'll take sunshine over rain. From what I understand, raining when you're trying to ski and snowboard is just miserable. So if you are going up to the ski and snowboard slopes, I certainly hope you enjoy yourself. You might want to again wear some, or excuse me, use some of that sunscreen. Now, of course, on Sunday, there is quite the big football game. I know the eyes of the Northwest are going to be on Seattle Lumen Field as the Seattle Seahawks do host the Los Angeles Rams. I am tighter than a banjo string excited for this game coming up on Sunday. Again, the winner of this game punches a ticket to the Super Bowl. If you are going to be going over to Lumen Field for this game, there's going to be pretty good weather for it. Temperatures in the 40s, and we are going to be looking at partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Weather will certainly not be playing a negative role in this game. Just two great teams going head-to-head, again, vying for a Super Bowl spot. So are there any changes coming locally? Well, let's talk about that now with the Storm Tracker Futurecast. We're certainly not going to be looking at any changes through Sunday. By the time we get to Monday, there is maybe a possibility that a few isolated raindrops could pop up here and there, but it's really not looking like much. And then I'm going to advance forward to Wednesday, and well, I guess this ran through Thursday, but I'm actually going to back this up to Wednesday. And you'll see, obviously, there's really nothing there. There's no blues or greens on the screen. This model of the Storm Tracker Futurecast reflects the European model. Typically, the European model is the better weather model, one of the best weather models we have. So I think we can put some real stock into the fact that this particular model does not show any precipitation coming on Wednesday and even very little precipitation coming on Monday. However, I'm going to go in and switch the settings now, and we're going to be taking a look at another weather model. So pardon me while I do this. I know it just kind of shifted all of a sudden, but I have to go in and change some settings. Give it a second. Again, I hope everybody is going to have a tremendous weekend coming your way. Now, as we look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast, this is going to reflect the GFS model. So again, looking at calm weather conditions through Sunday. By the time you get to Monday with this weather model, you'll notice that precipitation is a bit more robust trying to move into our viewing area. And I really think that if anything was to happen on Monday in terms of precipitation, it would likely be along the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills. But the big time changes actually arise as we click forward towards Wednesday. You'll notice this is a much more robust moisture plume coming into the area on Wednesday with this weather model, as opposed to the one that we were looking at that showed dry weather conditions. Clearly, this weather model, again, this is known as the GFS model, it's the American model, shows some precipitation moving into our region. Now, typically, as I was just referencing, the European model is better than the American model, so there is certainly a good chance we stay dry, but given the discrepancy between the European model and the American GFS model, I don't think we can totally rule out maybe some stray showers or at least some type of precipitation on Wednesday. So that is what we are going to be tracking very closely as we go throughout the weekend, see how models trend. If the GFS starts to trend more in the dry direction towards the European model, or maybe the European model starts to trend a little bit more wet, like the GFS model does suggest. So that is kind of the big weather story. That's kind of the big weather question that we are going to be trying to follow through the next several days. But in general, through the weekend, we are just going to be looking at calm and cloudy weather conditions. Now, what I will say is that I don't believe I'm going to be doing one of these. I'm going to tilt the camera up a little bit so we can get a better view. I don't believe I'm going to be doing one of these on Monday. I do have some other obligations, so I probably will not be doing one of these on Monday. There are other ways, though, to keep up with the forecast through the weekend. We will be updating the KEPR website, KEPRTV.com. You can click on the weather tab, and we will always update the forecast there. And then on Monday, or that will continue on Monday as well. So if you want to kind of get an update, you can always watch our latest forecasts again on the KEPRTV.com page and then click on the weather tab. I plan on doing another one of these come next Wednesday. Again, I won't be doing one of these on Monday. Typically, I try to do them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that's kind of all I have to share for now. I hope everybody has an absolutely tremendous weekend coming their way. If anybody is a Seahawks fan like myself, go Hawks. I certainly hope we perform well on Sunday. I'm now going to just kind of flip the camera around here so we can end maybe on the view of that weather cam that we were talking about earlier. Again, it just stays cloudy. That's kind of the story. And again, I believe we are going to stay in the clouds through the weekend. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.